Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin.
'Well, hello again, and welcome to episode 226 of There's Still Time, the AFTN Soccer Show. I'm Michael McCall.
I'm Steve Pender.
Cock-a-hoop is definitely a word that we can use to describe how we're feeling today. It felt like it was never going to happen, Steve, but it has. The Whitecaps have finally won an MLS playoff game.
Yeah, no 4 chances before. No wins, but the first one ever it was a major one. They just absolutely destroyed San Jose last night.
5-0 rout, and I think in your wildest dreams you maybe hoped that it was going to be a really comfortable night. I went for a 4-0 win. You had gone for 3-1.
Yeah,
you hope it's going to be a great night. Never sure if it is going to happen, but wow, what a statement game, Carl Robinson basically said afterwards, and it certainly was that.
I would take move away from the statement game comment only because they were playing San Jose, and San Jose
true.
Was like we said before, minus 21 in goal differential. Yes, they were everybody talks about momentum. They had momentum, but they were playing a Minnesota team that was really had nothing to play for, and they just
did
won at the last second.
For them, yeah.
So I would temper the statement part. It's a good win. It's a solid win. It's a win they should have had, and they definitely won it emphatically.
That is the kind of annoying part of the whole thing, really, though. 2 weeks ago, they had a chance to do this, and they didn't.
Yeah.
Now they've got themselves in the position, and you feel, this is what should have happened a couple of weeks ago. A lot of the players referred to that after the game. But then at the same time, you've got the team now playing this game, getting some confidence, getting some momentum, which they didn't have over the last 5 games. Just one win and a draw in those last 5 games, and not a string of very good performances. But now they've got this, and this might actually turn out to be a blessing in disguise for them.
No, for sure. And I when I say temper, like your feelings about this, I'm not saying it's not a positive win. It's definitely a positive win, but just know where you are at and where you were, and make sure that you don't set yourself up for a big drop off in the next game. And that's but ultimately, yes, the run up to the playoffs wasn't ideal. They should have had that result definitely against San Jose, and obviously the Portland game was disappointing only because it was their 3rd loss to them in the year. But the game yesterday definitely brought the spirits up of the players. Everybody was excited yesterday.
Yeah.
Everybody was buzzing. People weren't able to get to sleep at night. The concourse was all over the place. And I think for the first time they might have had a march back to Doolin's afterwards.
Oh, really?
I'm not sure. It seemed like it.
I
the
didn't
sound
get to
of
bed
it and everything.
4 a.m. as it turned out. Partly buzzing excitement, just finishing some articles and stuff for MLS. But
I got up at 4 a.m. to go to work.
I know. Ships passing in the night.
Yeah.
But we'll look a little bit back at that win against San Jose. First thing we have to look at is the lineup, and there was some more changes from Sunday.
Expected changes, I thought.
Robbo had said going into the game that he was going to put out his best lineup. So if that is what he's considering his best lineup, you have to think that is perhaps the team that's now going to take the Whitecaps forward for the rest of this postseason run. Although we'll come to that a little bit later on. So the big changes, and the big personnel decisions. In goal, Marinovic kept his place. I think if you were going to switch and put David Ousted in, it would have been after that Portland game. Marinovic, fair to say, he didn't have a great game down in Portland. We talked about that on Sunday. Had a couple of errors, definitely at fault for the first goal. You can point fingers at him for the second goal. But the faith that was then shown in him by Robbo and Stuart Kerr and the coaching staff, he's your man going forward now.
Yeah, for sure. I think that there was no way that he was going to be taken out for the San Jose game.
I didn't think so either, but a lot of fans
you're right.
on Twitter were like, oh, get Ousted back,
get
him.
You're right. If there was an opportunity for Ousted to get back, it was after Portland, but I didn't see it that much of an opportunity. Marinovic, that big save he had early in the game, I think it was in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That was huge, and that set the tone for the game and for the players, and it showed that confidence in his teammates, like his teammates got confidence in him, that he was going to be there for them making those saves.
Yeah, I mean, a fantastic save. 5 minutes in, Goodall free kick, one-handed save. And then
he pushed it. He pushed it hard, too.
And then I spoke to him afterwards, and it's like, you talk about the confidence that Marinovic has and brings to this team as a keeper. Here's what he said when I asked him, oh, did that settle your nerves, a great save like that?
Oh, not really. I mean, it's pretty standard. No, not really. I was pretty calm going into the match and throughout the match.
So, yeah, I mean, Marinovic, Stuart Kerr talked about it on Sunday.
He's a cool cat. Yeah, he doesn't get phased much by saves, and he doesn't get highs or lows.
No.
It seems like perfect mentality for a goalkeeper.
I said after we did our chat with him when he first arrived, he's the most chilled guy I've ever spoken to football-wise, and just keeping that going. So Marinovic in goal, Marcel de Jong coming back though in the left-back position, and
I thought he had a fantastic game.
Yeah, he was great. Jordan Harvey was run ragged. I had tweeted that out on Sunday. He was given a bit of a torrid time down in Portland.
Yeah.
Partly though because the Whitecaps had wanted to play so narrow.
Yeah.
But I mean,
and
De
because
Jong,
it's a narrow pitch too.
Yeah. I love Jordan Harvey. Love what he's done for this club. I love his passion. I love the fun stuff that we've done with him on the show, and he's a great guy to speak to. But you have to say, this season, the last few games, Marcel de Jong just brings so much more to the table than what Harvey does.
For sure. But I think Harvey still has moments where, depending on the team you're playing, that he can be brought out there. And I still think even in the playoffs, I think there might be games where Robbo thinks tactically Harvey's the guy for them because he offers you something different. And that difference is obviously defensively. And the problem is that if he plays defensively in Portland like he did, maybe he doesn't get brought out that much. That's the only issue. But obviously he does offer something different.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely does.
But De Jong just offers something so much going forward. Like that one shot he had off that corner when he forced a save, a quick save. Basically, Tarbell was able to smother it, but he offered that shot. Harvey doesn't. Harvey gets his goals from in close. He attacks the net.
Yeah.
De Jong can fire something from afar.
He's playing with a lot of confidence as well, which is like when you're defending exactly what you want. Then another change last night, Tony Chaney came in for Nosa Ijibor.
And that was kind of expected too.
Yeah. Chaney didn't even feature though in the game day squad for Portland. And I mean, Ijibor had a good game down there, did suffer from cramp. I'm not surprised that he didn't start this one.
And he didn't even make it to 18 either, I think.
No.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that could be something that we'll talk about going forward. Could be a position as well. Bola kept his position.
Yeah.
And thankfully, Freddie effing Montero shook off that calf knock, was good to go, and dream start. And what a first half he had, breaking his playoff duck. It was a night of firsts for the Whitecaps, for individual players, and for Montero. 4 seasons at Seattle, 10 playoff games, no goals.
Yeah.
2 assists, but no goals. 33 minutes as a Whitecap in the playoffs, breaks that goal-scoring duck, 1-0 Whitecaps.
And it was a great cross. Waston, I think he was being covered by 2 men. It seemed like it. But he still was able to, I think Bernardes was the main guy covering him, but he was able to get up, flashes that header over to the far post, and Montero's sitting right there.
Yeah.
And he's done that before, too. He always seems to be finding those spots where he's able to Like people complain that he knocked in Parker's goal from a foot out. Or was Parker's goal and he was able to, but he finds those spots. He's able to get in spot. He's a poacher who's able to see an opportunity and finish off a goal.
Yeah, and he did it with aplomb. It was a great header. You saw what it meant to him as well. There's a great photo that Tom took of just him so happy. He's just kind of on his own after the team celebrations. And then afterwards as well, he brought his little daughter Ruby to speak to the press. He's loving it here.
Great sweater.
Oh, yeah, with 5 stars on it. Obviously, he knows the Whitecaps are going to win the next 5 MLS Cups, so he's just got that sweater early.
Trophies too.
Oh, could be, yeah. Although they've been up to 6 now.
Oh, well, they are. Yeah, that's right. He's going to have to add a star somewhere.
But 1-0 to the Whitecaps. At that point, in the first game when the Whitecaps went 1-up a couple of weeks ago, I said to you, that's it over now. The floodgates are going to open. And they didn't, and San Jose fought back. I didn't have that feeling this time that the floodgates were going to open, but they did.
Yeah, but this time, that time the floodgates did open. Tarbell came up with some huge saves.
Yes,
he went down.
And that's what he definitely didn't do last night.
No, and then, the second goal came in obviously in the second half. San Jose almost came back and scored. Like Wondolowski, remember that spin around where Marinovic had to get down to make the save and parry it away? That was scary right there. But then another guy who came into the lineup that wasn't in Portland, Teixeira, he had that free kick and he put it in the top corner. No way Tarbell was getting to that one.
No, not at all. I mean, at the start of the second half, San Jose had come out, Marinovic had another big save, but that free kick from Teixeira was the thing that killed the game off. One of the goals of the season, not just from a Whitecaps perspective, but throughout MLS. The curve on that ball and just the sweetness that he struck it with was fantastic. And at that point, it was 2-0 to the Whitecaps. And yes, at that point, you did think it was game over. You didn't see San Jose coming back into it. I thought the floodgates would open a little bit. I still fancied my 4-0 scoreline. I just didn't think it was going to open up the way it did. It was phenomenal second half attacking performance by the Whitecaps. That does leave you asking, where has that been for a lot of this season? But then, as you rightly pointed out at the start of this show, it was San Jose. This was a team that headed into the playoffs with a goal difference of -21, which when you think about it, is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that even a team could make it. And then obviously the third goal, which actually, that was the one that really killed the game off. That was second phase. All these were, the first 3 goals were all set pieces.
Yeah.
This was the second phase of a set piece, the third goal. But then it was a great cross in. Gazal almost had the bicycle kick.
Yeah, and then it fell to Parker, who played it across goal.
Yeah, and then basically Wasson was there to just slip it right in from the 1 foot line.
Easiest goal Kendall Wasson.
It was the Rivero goal. It was the Rivero goal.
Yeah, and the funny thing is Montero was right behind him, and Montero's probably thinking, I could have had that.
Yeah,
but 3-0.
But that's saying again about Montero. He's in the right spot at the right time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can't fault a striker for that. That's what you want. That's what we've not had for years.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like we've just not had that. And we've got that now in Montero, and we have to do everything we can to keep him here. He's loving it here. We have to break the bank and keep him here. We're not paying money on WFC2 anymore. There's been murmurs as well that NWSL is not going to be coming. It's just too much of an expense. The residency budget as well, I believe, has been cut back this year. I'm hoping that all these savings are to give Montero whatever he wants as a salary.
Well, let's not go too crazy over that.
I don't know.
I understand where you're coming from.
Freddie love right now.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from because it has been a long time coming. We've gone through a lot of strikers. I think Kenny Miller was the last one that gave some kind of this kind of.
Kenny Miller in this team
would be very exciting.
Fantastic as well. It's just he just did not get the service.
Imagine him coming off the bench.
Oh,
yeah. Maybe we could sign him. Is he available?
Talking of players coming off the bench, though, someone that did come off the bench and made a big impact last night was Nicolas Mezquida. And, he hadn't been playing much. And he comes off, he scores 2 goals and 2 very well taken goals as well.
Yeah, Bola set him up for the first one.
Yeah, runs through, slides it in off the post in the bottom hand corner. And then the second one that he got was the best of his 2.
Yeah, and Breck Shea made a great run.
Yeah.
He came on as a sub too.
Shea looked fantastic as a sub, which he's done a lot this year.
Yeah.
Again, with the salary that he's on, that's maybe not great value for money, but then you can argue if he's having that impact, who cares? It's like, I'll pay that if a guy's going to have these assists and goals that he's put in.
He sent a perfect cross over the defenders right into Mezquida. Mezquida just had to kind of have his leg in the right spot and just like bang it in. It was a perfect shot. It was a perfect cross.
Yeah, and he was so happy about it as well. And we're going to hear from Nico a little bit later on in this show. But that was how the game played out. We'll look at a few more aspects from it in a couple of minutes. For now, though, let's hear from both head coaches. First of all, we'll hear from a nationally disappointed Quakes head coach, Chris Leach. And then we'll hear from Robbo.
Yeah, tough one. Obviously, didn't go the way that we'd like to hope. It's tough, first 3 goals are all on set pieces, and obviously the second 2 are us kind of pushing pretty darn aggressively to get back in the game, and it happens at times.
So, Carl, the last couple of weeks has been a little bit difficult for the team, but is this the kind of response you're looking for? A very comfortable 5-0 win in the end.
Yes, last 3 weeks with 2 difficult away games have been difficult, and we didn't take care of business at home 2 weeks ago against a very good San Jose team, and it come back to bite us on the backside, unfortunately. But I made the guys aware. We get a second chance because we're in the playoffs, but let's not let this one slip, and we didn't today. We done today what we should have done 2 weeks ago against a very good team.
The club's very first ever playoff win as well. What does that mean to you as the coach to be in charge for that?
Yeah, listen, I said to you all the time, I like proving people wrong. Football's there for records to be broken, and we broke a few since I've been here, which is, before I come here, there was people that were breaking records, and since I've come, there's more records breaking. So that's what you have to do. But I'm delighted for everyone involved with the football club tonight and everyone involved with the city, because we needed a little bit of success, and we've got a little bit of success today. But that's all it is. It sets us up nicely for a 2-legged playoff game against our rivals up the road, which we'll really look forward to. And, if we're going to go further, we've got to beat the champs, which is no easy feat.
Does the manner in which you won the game, 5-0 to finally get a playoff win, does that help you at all going forward, doing it that way rather than, had it been a 1-0 game or a squeaker?
Yeah, but a win is a win, and I wouldn't have minded how we would have won the game today. I think it puts the icing on the cake that you win a one-legged playoff game at home in front of your supporters who were magnificent all night. It's not easy coming out on a Wednesday night, I know that, but you saw what it meant to the players and the club today that, we're so determined to get that first playoff win, and we did. And did we do it in style? Yeah, we probably did, which makes it all the more special. But I'm sure you'll be saying to me now, Sunday needs to be the same again, and every football game is different. So we'll enjoy it tonight. We'll be in tomorrow morning. The boys are in to recover tomorrow as we prepare for the next stage.
5-0 win, but a bit of a nervy start. Did you feel like the first 10 minutes? Did you get that sense that the guys might have been a little...
I knew you'd pick up something negative from a 5-0 victory at home in front of our fans. It's brilliant. No, we were super, super confident from the first minute of the game. No. Listen, we started the first 2 minutes well. We had half a chance, and, they're a good team. Whoever you play in this league, the parity is so close that you're going to have periods of games, and obviously they had a brief period in the first half. We got the first goal, which was always crucial, and I said, I don't want to live at 1-0 after half-time. We need the second goal. And that was drummed into them. And obviously we get the second, and then it's like when you wait for a bus. You wait ages, and then 2, 3, 4 come along, go in the same place. That's what happened.
Carl, just to look ahead to Sunday's match, you said you're looking forward to facing Seattle. No Dempsey for the Sounders. Do you view that as a big break for your club?
Well, I'm sure they'll bring in another top player, because they got top player after top player, which is good. Listen, we're playing against the champs, so we know we're going to be underdogs. I like the underdog role. We've played them 3 times already this year. I'm sure we're sick of the sight of each other, which is good. I'm sure there'll be emotions and tackles and cards and football and goals and penalties, hopefully from my side. But, you always get those things with derby games. And the focus today was try and get through this round, and then let's go and have a good 2-legged series against our rivals. We've got tremendous respect for the team up the road, we know that. And even though they're our rivals and they won MLS Cup, so it should be good. And the one team that will qualify, then good luck to them.
He's the gaffer. You can't try it on with him. He's the gaffer. Even when he's on a limb. He's the gaffer. When his back's against the wall, has the answer to it all.
So the gaffer's there. Obviously very mixed emotions. Kyle Robinson very happy. Loved his response to Josh's question about it was a bit of a nervy start, and he's like, yeah, I'd expect you to find something negative from that performance. It made everyone chortle.
Yeah. Well, it was a bit of a nervy start.
It was. You can't get away from that.
Even
Josh was 100% correct.
Yeah, and you sent that tweet out at the end of the half when people were actually whistling for the halftime whistle, and that there's nerves there when you want that halftime whistle. You want to get to the big one up, one on.
I've done it a lot in games coming up to full time, but to do it just like, come on, halftime, hurry up and come.
Yeah, and it wasn't a few; it was a lot of them.
Yeah.
They were very noticeable, those whistles.
And it was the talk at half-time that it was a nervy start as well. So, I mean, Josh Clinton, Canadian Press, spot on there. Possession-wise, the Whitecaps had 45.4%. Fantastic.
That's a decent number. That's what you want.
It's not a record season high, because there have been over 50%.
But is that did those mostly come in the first, the 5-minute intervals that you love?
Yeah. And for our bingo card, though, we didn't get to the 50%. I couldn't get that crossed off. We did get a few things crossed off. We had Freddie Effin Montero crossed off.
Yeah.
First Whitecaps playoff win, we had that crossed off as well.
5-0? Was that it?
Didn't put that in.
Oh, you didn't expect it, did you?
No. And I'm a bit worried because one of the things on the bingo card is 16-year-old Alphonso Davies gets his first MLS goal. Now, he's running out of opportunities because he's going to be 17 soon, so he needs to do it against Seattle.
Yeah, one of the best things about I noticed on the stats was and this is really going to help down the road too, is no yellow cards.
Yeah,
and they really, there was a couple of really rough tackles where you're concerned that I think it was Gazal on Bernardes when he knocked him out basically, and I think
he's a tough tackling guy.
Bernardes, if you think of it, I don't know if they'll admit it or not. Bernardes could have been affected because he landed on his shoulder so bad, and that was before the goal was scored, and it could have affected him when going for that, trying to compete with Waston for that corner. He was down for like 2-3 minutes there.
He was having some battle as well with Kendall Waston before that, ending in Waston's shirt getting ripped as well.
Oh, that was early in the game, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, he went down, and maybe it did affect him a little bit more than anyone kind of knew. But the no yellow cards thing, it was great game management all round by the Whitecaps. I mean, you don't want to be glowing, gushing too much, but it's hard not to after a 5-0 win.
Yeah, you have to.
I mean, they managed the game superbly.
We'll get pessimistic after Seattle games. Either one or both of them.
Hopefully not.
Yeah,
and I mean,
not.
even shots as well. 17-10, the Whitecaps won that. 8-5 on target. And Marinovic had to come up bigger, as we talked about.
Yeah.
We talked about De Jong as well. Any other players stand out for you, Steve, either in a positive or negative way?
There's only one player, and people probably won't agree with this, but the only player that I would put in a negative, and barely in a negative because it was a 5-0 win, was Reina. He was giving away the ball a little bit too much for me,
especially that first half. He just seemed to really struggle with his touch.
Like his passes would hit people in the wrong spots. Like it was a simple pass and it would hit him in the thigh or something like that. The passes were off. That maybe he was a little bit too excited for the game, and that's why his passes were a little bit too hard and maybe a little bit off. Other than that, even people were talking about after the game, Bolaños did not have a good game. I thought he was okay. I thought he was decent.
Yeah.
I thought he was there to do what he was supposed to
Sunday.
do. No, he was definitely better than Sunday, but he was there to do what he did, and he did set up Mezquida's fourth goal, Mezquida's first goal. He set that up. I thought he controlled the tempo a little bit, and I thought he did what he was supposed to do. Like, you have Yordi, Reina, and Christian Teixeira attacking, and Bola can hold up the ball here and there. And maybe that's the reason why they got up to 45% possession, because it was Bolaños that held on to the ball
possibly,
here and there.
yeah.
Because sometimes some players, even though you don't notice them, they're still effective on the pitch.
Well, talking of players that slid in and effective, I mean, we talked about Nicolas Mezquida's 2-goal performance. It was fantastic. Really happy for him. Had a chance to hear from him at training on Thursday, so we'll just play that for you now. Very happy guy, coming in cold. Here's what he had to say about it.
It was perfect moment. I mean, a lot for me and for the group, because it was a history game, because it's the first game the team winning playoff. And mean a lot for me, because for everyone, because for every effort we make this group since the start of the year, we we work a lot. I know the people outside didn't see, but you are here, and the people who are around here can see how hard we work. And now I think so. This is the result of all each day what we work. So I am so proud of all my teammates and the staff who helped us to live this moment, and now get ready for the semi-final. This means another we can keep making history in this team.
I think after your second goal, you went to the sideline and you had a nice big hug with Robo. Why was that it seemed like an emotional moment for both of you guys. Why was that the case?
No, that means a lot for me, because since I'm here, I am with him like this 4 years. Sometimes I know sometimes I don't have the opportunity to play, but I know he keeps trust me. I know this moment is another player over me. It's better. That is football. Sometimes it's moment. So when it's for in this case, Jordi is a great moment. He's a great player. So this time I had to wait and keep working quiet. And when I have the moment, like last night in 20 minutes, I can show all my work, all the things I can help to the team.
How hard is it when you haven't been playing to come into a big game like that, a little bit cold, and then put in a performance like that?
Well, yesterday was not was easy came in, but was a great moment, because the team made big work last night. The Sunday defense until the attack, every player made good show. So then were more easy my work to come in. So then make me easy the work, and of course thanks them, my teammate. I had a possibility to score in 2 times, because it was perfect timing and ball from Bola, and the second from break.
So Nicolas Mezquida there, coming off, surprisingly, a man of the match performance. Yeah. I'm not saying surprisingly because I didn't think he has it in him. He was only on the pitch for less than a quarter of the game.
Yeah,
I know he got 2 goals, but there were 2 goals that...
in garbage time,
yeah,
basically.
They weren't needed.
Yeah.
Not knocking his performance, but
no.
There's no way he was man of the match. And for me, that's just disrespectful to the rest of the team.
No, it happens if you're going to have Twitter name your man of the match. That's what's going to happen.
But basically, I just don't think we should let the public vote.
No.
I mean, we've seen it in America. They've had 2 Bushes in, and now Trump.
Yeah,
we've seen it in talent show contests as well.
Agreed.
Don't let the public vote.
Who was your man of the match?
There's a few you could really go for. I think for me, Kendall Waston. He got that goal. He was solid in the back again. The assist on Montero's goal, and just the way he marshalled the thing and his just enthusiasm. I think he's right up there for me.
Yeah, that's who I would give it to. But if I was going to give somebody else a shout, it would be Teixeira.
Yeah.
Because he did affect the play, not only the goal itself, but in the attack and everything. There was a number of times when he would just fly down the field, and he was able to hook up with Jake Nerwinski quite a bit. And I thought he played an effective game as well. The goal itself, we've talked so many times before that you need that second goal to stomp on the team when they're down, right? The opposition. He was able to get that, and it was a beautiful goal. No goal. Very few goalkeepers would be able to get to that goal. And so just based on that, and also his effective play, I would give him a second man of the match, but I agree with you, Waston was mine as well.
Yeah, Teixeira number 2, maybe give Marinovic the 3rd as well, just because...
Oh, the 2 saves.
Yeah.
Those 2
crucial
big saves. At the beginning of the first half, beginning of the second half, that's where the Whitecaps fall sometimes, at the beginning and end of halves, and he saved it for them.
I'm really delighted for Stefan, just the confidence that's now going to give him going forward. I don't think he needs too much more confidence, but just the faith that was shown, that was rewarded, and he's now going to be the guy that leads the Whitecaps going forward into this playoff. Which brings us now nicely on to the next game. These games are coming thick and fast. Sunday, first leg of the semi-finals at home to Seattle, another Cascadian derby. First time the 2 teams have met in the playoffs. Obviously, there's been a Cascadian derby with Vancouver before, Portland 2 years ago. That didn't go so well. I don't know. I just feel this just has a different feel, a different dynamic to it. with the Whitecaps being at home in the first leg.
And they don't have to deal with the deuce.
Yes.
That's really important. I think they do have a little bit of momentum, but like we said before, San Jose apparently had all the momentum, and Vancouver had none, and look what happened there.
Yeah, and I mean, Mark Weber's spoken to me before. He doesn't believe this momentum thing.
I don't believe in momentum either.
Unless
you're playing right after. If you're playing a game right after, then maybe you have momentum. You have momentum in halves.
I think folk mix momentum up, though, with confidence and kind of like a spring in their step. And the Whitecaps certainly have that.
Oh, they definitely have that. And that will get them somewhere there. Like we said, they don't have Dempsey. Jordan Morris has been injured, so they were missing him. Will Bruin will be the guy up front. But I think the most important part of playing Seattle will be their midfield. Ladero, Roldan, and Alonso. Those three guys, if they can cut that out, I think they have a very good chance of getting a good, solid result in that first game.
Yeah, I think the game could be won and lost for the Whitecaps in the middle of the park. I'm assuming we're going to go with a 4-2-3-1 again.
Yeah.
I did think for the San Jose game he may have gone to the 4-1-4-1 that worked so well.
Yeah, at times it seemed like that was the position because Chani moved up a little bit here and there.
And I mean, that formation worked so well for them at the start of the year and basically kick-started their season. But I think the 4-2-3-1 is what we're going to have. It's pretty much a set team in my mind. The only things you maybe have some questions about is, does Bolaños keep his spot? Didn't do so well in Portland, didn't do so well against Seattle down there a month ago. Do you keep him in, or does some of those sub-performances... I mean, Mezquida can play in the wing.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, do you look at riding those two goals and put him in for Bolaños?
And if you know that you're this is a radical thing. If the people probably won't agree with, but if you're concerned about Seattle's midfield and that's your number one thing, you could play Mezquida in the middle and put Reyna on the wing, and you got Reyna and Teixeira on the wing with Montero, and then you have a very defensive midfield that can get the ball to their wings, because you're going to be attacking their wings. You're going to have De Jong and Teixeira down one, and potentially Nerwinski and Reyna down one, and then you have your midfield that's just clogging it up. And maybe that's the way to go in this game, and try to win it. But that could be an option for Seattle as well, that they'd play it that way.
Yeah, I would give Mezquida the start. I think he deserves it with that performance, and I think the form that he's in just now, I just think he offers that little bit more than what Bolaños is offering. But then you've got a great guy on the bench in Bolaños to bring on if needed with all that experience. I think he got the start against San Jose for the experience factor, but I think you have to go with Nico now.
No, I'm going to disagree with you there. Nico does not play well as a starter.
Yeah, I have said that a lot over the last years, I know.
I would prefer to play him as coming off the bench. One guy who could start, and I don't know if he would start here or in Seattle, but I guarantee. Well, I'm not going to guarantee, but
it's the Steve Palmer guarantee, ladies and gentlemen.
I have a feeling that Nosa will play as a starter in one of those two games, whether it's at home or in Seattle. One of those two that you'll see Nosa in there.
I could see that 4-1-4-1 we talked about in Seattle with Chani, Nosa,
and
Gazal playing, and I wouldn't have a problem with that. If we can get the job done in the first leg, I'm fine with that.
I think Nosa's main position is box to box, but his secondary position on most of those transfer market sites has always been as a central attacking midfield. Now he doesn't have what Reyna has, but he does have a little bit of size, and he can bang in there too. So it might be something to look out for.
Robo sees him as a number 8.
And for sure. That's a primary, but secondary, he's more up front than back.
He can play all those positions, and I liked what I saw of him in the spell in Portland. I would seriously look at a 4-1-4-1. We'll talk about that more on Sunday, obviously, once we know the result of the first leg. And the Whitecaps are clearly confident. Seattle, though, equally confident, rested as well, haven't had a game since last Sunday. Going to play a little bit of audio now from Sounders training on Thursday. And we'll kick that off with some words from Brian Schmetzer, who took time out of teaching his geography class to speak to some of the Seattle media.
We're cognizant that it's a 2-game series, but we will approach the game to try and win without risking too much at the back. You can't go crazy because it's not a 1-game series, but certainly if you play conservative, sometimes you can get burned that way too. So there's a fine balance there. So we'll go out to try and win the game. We've had some success up there. Obviously, the last game up there when they came back 1-1, that was good for them. It started them on a little bit of a run. So we're very aware that they're a dangerous opponent, and our preparation will be very thorough and we'll be ready.
Is that what happened last night? Obviously, I'm sure you looked at the game where they 1-0 and then suddenly they've got a second half avalanche there.
Well, 3 set-piece goals. San Jose couldn't really generate enough quality chances. That spells big trouble against Vancouver Whitecaps. You have to try and put them under some pressure, right? Without giving away the counter. You can't give away silly fouls. That'll hurt you.
Despite them being a very talented team, it seems like they are really compact and they go off the counter. Would you say that as well?
Yeah, that's the way Carl sets them up. And, it's just execution. If your team executes and you're able to, keep the ball and create some good chances and be a little patient, but without foregoing trying to score and all those little things, and then as you possess, you're aware where Montero, Reyna, Bolaños, you're aware of those guys, then you give yourself a chance. But their execution yesterday was very high. It was a very good game.
Do you feel like your form at this point going in is similar to last year?
I think this team believes that they can win every single game they play. Now, we know reality is we don't, but they believe that they can win every single game.
You've talked a lot about the local rivalries and the greater significance and all that. What do you think it says about soccer in Cascadia to have 3 of the 4 conference semifinalists here?
Well, we liked it. I'm certainly proud of it, being from the Northwest. I didn't like Caleb holding up the supporter shield. That's the only thing I didn't like about it. I saw the photo on social media. Cascadia Cup, sorry. What did I say? Supporter shield. Cascadia Cup, you know what I meant. So I saw that one out there. That stung a little bit. We still had a chance there at the game. that's another testament to the rivalry. It wasn't over until that final match, which was good. And, I think Caleb and Carl do a great job.
When it comes to injuries, you still have Victor, Gustav, and
they were all out on the field today, so as soon as they're ready, they will play.
Is there any injuries that are less concerning than others?
No, they're all injuries. They're all concerns.
And just to clarify, you said Ozzy went through full training. What does that say about his availability for the weekend?
It says that when he's ready, he'll play.
Brian Schmetzer there. He always talks very highly of Carl in interviews, which is nice to see, and obviously very, very proud of coming from the Pacific Northwest, the Cascadian rivalry, understands it fully, what it means to the fans and to the area. And for what you think of rival teams' coaches, that is great to hear. And he is more likeable than Caleb Porter, although that wouldn't be hard. So we talked about the importance of Stefan Marinovic earlier in the show. The man between the sticks for Seattle is going to be equally important, Stefan Frei. He had that fantastic save in the last game a month ago in Seattle from Fred Montero's free kick. If that had gone in, that whole game could have been completely different. But then, if my aunt had balls, she'd be my uncle, so you can't look at things like that too much. But let's hear a little bit now from Stefan Frei from Seattle training on Thursday as well. And some interesting questions here for sure.
Well, Defense of the Cup started all the way back in late January, so it's been a good season for us. It's been a difficult season, but I think a big achievement to make it back into the playoffs. But yeah, now everything resets. As we know in MLS, every team now has a chance. It's going to be difficult, facing a good opponent. Arguably every opponent would have been good though, right? I think I wanted Vancouver simply, not because they're a better matchup for us, but simply because it's shorter distances for us to travel in them. So I think we're saving each other a bit there. But it's going to be difficult, they've proven that they're very lethal up top, very efficient up top. They're a good counter team, they're crafty, they're a good side. So we're going to have to be ready, but we believe in our ability, and we're going to try to play our game and get something up there.
Vancouver showed last night that they're a very clinical team in set pieces. From your position, is there any videos, studying, or anything like that in the way certain players kick the ball or certain set pieces to get ready for that?
Oh, absolutely. We do that every week. We look at every opponent the same way. You know, what are their strengths, what are their weaknesses, offensively and defensively. And they've shown that they were dangerous. Before that already. We know they have size. You know, they have height when Waston comes up top, and other guys who are very, very powerful. But then they also have guys who can go direct to goal, and are more than capable of doing that. So yes, we definitely do research. I'm sure they do research as well. You'd be a fool not to.
What do you think of Cascadia going 1, 2, 3 in the West this year, and kind of just what that says about soccer in this region to have all you guys up there in the playoffs?
I wish we were the only ones, but at the same time, it's great, right? You want your rivals to not do good. You want to see them suffer. I'm sure they feel the exact same way. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a true rivalry. But if you're looking at it as a soccer fan in the region, it's fantastic. It's the best thing. Obviously, it shows that I think all three teams are very well supported. Take a lot of pride in the product on the field, and they're very ambitious. Obviously, the Timbers have won an MLS Cup. We've won one now as well, and I'm sure Vancouver wants to win one now as well. So. It's only going to be better for the nation, I think, obviously for Canada as well, in terms of getting climates where there's a really, really strong rivalry in the area, not just some fabricated, U.S. versus Canada, but really something where you're vying for dominance in your area. And when you have multiple teams try to do that, it's only going to lead for better product, better soccer players, better national teams, all the above, so that's great.
So Stefan Frei there, confident Seattle can get the job done, but then so the Whitecaps. We touched upon it earlier in the show. I just think that this dynamic now plays in the Whitecaps' favour. They're at home in the first leg against a juiceless Seattle. If they can squeeze a win out of that,
for sure,
get a couple of goals, like 3 would be a dream. If you're heading with a 3-goal lead going into the second leg,
I'd be happy with 2.
Yeah, but 2 would be fantastic. 1 equally good.
Yeah.
Because I fancy them, and I know they didn't do it a month ago, but I fancy them to sneak an away goal. And obviously in the playoffs, away goals count. The away goals rule is in effect. This is right in their wheelhouse.
I can see them getting a result here, like a win, and then going to Seattle and having a better type of performance from that. You remember the Sporting Kansas City game?
Yeah.
Like playing that type of game, but actually playing better. Having a better performance, but that type of game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they get the result, or a 0-0 result. They smother Seattle, and they're able to just Seattle can't get anything back from if they're down 1-0 or 2 down. No.
The flip side of that is, though, what kind of Seattle do you want to face down there? Do you want to face a team that is going to just throw everything at them in the early stages because they need to get back in the game?
But then they could counterattack.
See, there's that. Or do you want to face a more patient Seattle team? Because Seattle do look dangerous when they throw all their guys forward.
That's true.
And we saw that in that 3-0 game.
Yeah.
Would it be better for the Whitecaps to have it maybe just 1-0?
Let the sleeping giant lie until you're ready to pounce.
Because no matter what, they are going to pounce on the counter.
Well, remember, it's 180. It's really 180-minute game.
Yes,
it's not a 90-minute game.
We could be adding another 30 on as well, depending
exactly.
on how things go. But it's an exciting time. What's your thoughts score-wise?
Sunday game, I would go. I think Vancouver can pull out a goal. I think it's 1-0.
I'm going to go for 2-0. My head's saying 2-0, my heart's saying 3-0. But I fancy the Caps to get this job done. And then it's in their own hands, which sometimes is not great from a Whitecaps point of view.
Yeah.
Carl Robinson sees them as the underdogs just now. It's kind of hard to disagree.
I think they would be considered underdogs, but I think they're one of the best bet underdogs.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that Seattle's not going to have Dempsey in that first game. Although you're going to have a rested Dempsey, so is that more dangerous?
And we said a couple of weeks ago, I thought finishing third was the best path for the Whitecaps, and I still think that. I think it's going to be 2-0, and then I won't give a prediction for the second leg. We'll kind of see how this first leg goes.
That's too early to do, yeah.
It's going to be a fantastic game, a great atmosphere. 5:30 kickoff. Not too late that Seattle fans can't make it up. Not too early that they can't make it either, because 1 o'clock kickoff in Portland was absolutely ridiculous. And while I'm talking about kickoff times, the game against San Jose, scheduled for a 7:30 start, kicks off at 7:55. This has been a bugbear of mine for years, and it has to change. Give the proper kick-off time. I know part of it is they want the fans in the stadium buying beer and also getting to their seats early.
No, they said it was because of broadcast. They said it was because of broadcast.
We'll tell you at 7:55.
Yeah.
It's absolute bullcrap that you're waiting in a stadium for 25 minutes for a game.
Now, I can understand if they say 7:30 kickoff and you kick off at 7:36 or 7:37. That's
I
understandable.
can live with that, but not 25 minutes.
25 minutes.
So
is
are we
too
expecting a 5:55 kickoff then on Sunday?
Maybe. We'll see. But they're the only game on Sunday too, so they don't have to worry about anybody else.
Oh, but they still like to get all their stuff done. So who knows? But it's going to be a fun game. The defences on both teams, they're going to be put under a lot of pressure. Marinovic in goal is going to be cool, calm and collected for the Whitecaps. And another guy that is going to be that as well is in the right back role, Jake Nerwinski. Nerwinski has had a fantastic season. Probably doing more than anyone expected from a rookie coming in. Robo talked after the draft that he was the guy that they wanted. They wouldn't give their place away to get that. And I think it's showing now exactly why. Got a chance to speak to Jake at training on Thursday, just about his season so far and the playoff road ahead. So let's hear what Jake Nerwinski had to tell us. So Jake, it's been a real whirlwind year for you. I spoke to you, I think it was like you'd just made your debut, it was like maybe April or May. You've come on so much since then, made yourself the regular starter. Does it all seem a bit of a dream?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's always been a dream to play professional, and to get the opportunity to play in actual games in my first year is just really special, and I just think it's great for my development going forward, and I'm just happy to be helping the team out in any way, little way I can.
I know you kind of talked about this a few weeks ago, but when you came here from UConn, you mustn't have thought that you were going to play as much as you did and get all these opportunities.
Yeah, like I said before, Robo told me he likes to play young guys, and I would be competing for a spot. But as the season went on, I was kind of the second choice. But I kept my head down. I kind of kept working. But no, I really couldn't ask for much more. Playing in 20 games so far this year, it's been great. It's been a great rookie year.
What's been the biggest change for you, in your game, having to adapt from what you've done at the college level to coming into the pros?
Yeah, I think it's just being consistent every day. Sometimes in college, at university, I could have taken a few days off and I wouldn't really be hurt by that. But here you got to be consistent every single day. And the other aspect of it is the speed of play. I think I have to I had to learn how to play a lot faster, a lot quicker, and even that with defensively too. These guys are a lot quicker, so I had to be on my front foot always.
You've been mentioned as a possible Rookie of the Year candidate and various things like that. How does that make you feel? I know you're not in it for those kind of plaudits, but I mean, it must make you feel that people elsewhere are looking at you. Some folks even talked about you being a future American national team player.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's always nice to get noticed. It's always nice to be appreciated, but yeah, I'm not really worried about that much. I'm more about the teams, how far we can, make it. But yeah, the U.S. team, it's always been a dream of mine. That's kind of like the end goal, is to, play for your country. I think everybody really wants to do that. So if that happens in the future, it'd be great. But I'm going to keep working to get to that point.
Your style of play, Robo likes the wing backs to tear forward, the full backs to tear forward. Is that how you've always played? Have you always been a guy that's had a lot of assists?
Yeah, I have. I used to play forward before I was right back. So, coming into college, I was just moved back to right back before college, so like that first year. So I only played 1 year at right back before going to university, and so I was always an attacking guy. So I kind of, even though I was pushed back to defense, I was like, you know what, I'm going to still keep going forward. I'm going to make this position my own. And, the game is evolving where these, outside backs are getting into the attack more, and I think it's great, and I love doing that. But I know it's defense first. I got to say that. But, no, I love getting forward, yeah.
Now, your first playoff experience last night couldn't have gone much better, 5-0 win. Did you take a moment to kind of just take it all in?
I think after the 5th goal, I was like, wow, this is pretty special. We made history. We did it in pretty awesome fashion. So it was great, to see the fans going crazy, coaches, jumping around, hugging each other, and it was just a really good experience.
Looking forward to Sunday now. Massive game against Seattle. We talked about it a little bit last night about the game down there hadn't gone well a couple of weeks ago. But what are you looking for from this? This is a team that, to me, it looks like the scenario is perfect because you can go on the road and you can score. You've got the first leg at home, which I've always thought was better to have the second leg at home, but the last couple of years I've kind of switched round about that. Do you feel it plays into this team's style to maybe go and get something done at home, then sneak an away goal, and then it's forcing Seattle to chase, really?
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe not winning the conference is a little bit of a blessing in disguise because we got this home game and we got this momentum going into Seattle now. We got another home game coming up, so I think it's definitely huge. And we're a good road team and we're really good at home, so I think we can do some damage.
And do you allow yourself to dream? I know the standard cliche is one game at a time, but do you allow yourself to dream as to what could lie ahead?
No, not at all.
That's great. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah.
Cheers. So Jake Nerwinski there, and what a season he's had, Steve.
Yeah, he's making the rounds almost on every morning television show,
he's been
radio
very
show. He's been
in
featured.
demand.
So he's been featured quite a bit. So I see him having a bright future here. He's one of those guys that, because, just in my opinion, I think he could be, as long as the Whitecaps will have him and he wants to stay here, I think he could be a lifelong Whitecap. He could be. I don't see him, and this is no disrespect to him, I don't see him being a player that makes the jump to Europe.
No.
I think he's
Totally
going to be a
agree.
lifelong MLSer. He's going to have a fantastic career. And until he gets to the Steven Betishore type money, maybe he stays until then, and then he moves on to TFC.
Well, I mean, you mentioned Betishore, and now we've got a guy that is definitely a replacement for him. We lacked it last year.
Yes.
And we've got a guy like YP Lee even that's contributing these assists, which we just haven't had in that right back.
And he's young, and he's going to be growing into this role still.
And just quickly touched on it with Jake there. Could we be looking at a future backline of the American national team with Parker and Nerwinski?
That's if Parker decides to stay. He could be going over to Europe. He's this guy that could be one of those like Jeff Cameron types that goes over to Europe.
I don't know that he's that good enough.
I'm just saying that
he could end up in the Scottish Premier League.
Well, if you're putting him
if
you're putting him in the U.S. national team, then
Yeah.
he would be good enough to be in Europe somewhere. I'm not saying the top leagues, but he would somewhere.
And you did point out it is a hard lineup to crack just now. Even though they haven't made the World Cup, it's still a hard squad to crack.
Yeah, they got a lot of young players all over the world that they're kind of poaching as well. They're from other countries, trained in other countries, and bring it up here.
Well, good luck to Jake and all the Whitecaps in the game on Sunday. We'll be bringing you our live show on CITR Radio. Just now it's scheduled for 11 o'clock. We might actually be able to get in a little bit earlier and do it. So watch Twitter for announcements with that, because we might bring you that earlier.
It'll depend on kickoff time, really.
Yeah, kickoff time, when I get all my MLS post-game stuff done, and then just how quick we can get up to the studio. So we're aiming at some time between 10 and 11 to possibly kick off. But for now, let's just go with 11. But just before we go, Steve, let everyone know where they can find you online.
You can find me on Twitter at WhitecapsBeat.
I'm Michael McCall. You can find me on Twitter at AFTN Canada. Read our stuff away from the numbers, aftn.ca. But also the Whitecaps beat reporter for MLSsoccer.com, so quite a few things going up post San Jose on that site as well, so check all that out. Also give us a follow on Instagram at AFTN Soccer. But that is it for this episode of the podcast. Until next time, thanks for listening, take care, and mon the Caps. Beat those Sounders. Bye everyone.
Going to your first match is an experience you never forget. The atmosphere of what's going on around the pitch looks beautiful, and you always look and go, wow, I'd love to play here one day. If you get the bug, it's going to stay with you for life.
10 minutes left, yeah, but